Hey guys, so this is the part 2 of how to prove ties to your home country. So if you have not already watched the part 1, go through my profile and check the part 1 so that it will give you the understanding, or it will help you to follow the conversation. Now, when many people go for the visa interview, one thing that they often misunderstand is that the visa officers are not there to verify your documents. In fact, 99.9%, they don't believe in your documents. Many people go into the visa interview room with documents about their lands, about their cars, about their wedding, about their employment, receipts, about their businesses, study leave letters, and all that. The truth is that visa officers do not care about the documents you are holding. The purpose of the interview is to assess your verbal responses, is to confirm they are already assumed suspicions. So, when you go for the visa interview, the assumption is that you start from negative. The visa officer assumes that anyone who enters does not qualify for the visa. Anyone who enters is a potential immigrant, which means that they believe that as you leave your home country, you are not going to return. They should assume that you are not going to return. So you are there to prove otherwise. You are there to prove them wrong. Now, to prove home ties, it is not about showing the document you have, the asset you have. I'm going to explain. Visa officers do not care about your documents, your land documents, your investment document, properties, because they believe, and in most cases, they have witnessed fake documents over their lives. These visa officers have done the interview in a decade. They have tons of experience, so they can tell when applicants fake documents and all that. So they are not interested in your document. So when you go for your visa interview, focus on getting your responses clear, getting your answers out. Many people are like, I have this document. No, they are not there to verify your document. Now, as a student, I've seen a lot of students who ask me, Alfred, I want to take a study leave letter from my company. I want to take an employment letter from my company to show ties to my home, to prove that after school I'll return. That is bogus. Now, the irony is that many people who carry study leave letter, right, are being sponsored by their uncles. Now, you are working for a company that is so much interested in you, so much interested in your education. They have given you a study leave letter to say, hey, we are sponsoring Alfred to go. Alfred is working with us. He's going to study in the US, and after school he will return. We have given him a study leave letter for 2 years. Now, the question that you should ask yourself is, what is the commitment between you and the company, between you and the job, that will require you, that will mandate you to return after you are done with your studies? What is it? What is the commitment? Why do you think that the visa officer will believe that because your company has given you a study leave letter, you will be committed to coming? Because the study leave letter is no legal obligation. It has no legal obligation to bring you back to your home country. The study leave letter doesn't do anything. You can get to the US and after you are done, who cares? You may decide not to come. The study leave letters prove nothing. So don't go to the visa interview carrying study leave letter, assuming that will show proof of your home ties. It doesn't mean you cannot go with you. But the question is, how do you make good use of the study leave letter? It depends on the response you give. So you are not going to say, after school, I'm going to return to my home country and work with my company. I have my study leave letter. The question is, what is the commitment? It is better to say, I have been working for the past 15 years for this company. I was part of their development model for the Accra branch. So I've been very interested in the kind of things that we do. And recently, this is the problem we have seen. I'm going to study management science, or I'm going to study this after school. I'm hoping that I'll return to Ghana and continue working with this company. One of my long-term goals is to become a consultant that will support companies who are facing similar problems and troubles in my home country. You see, in this case, you are linking your overall purpose of study to your ties to your home country. Why you need to study the program, you are linking it to why it will bring you back home, because you have identified a problem, you have identified an issue, and that is coming from your work and your experience with your current company, and you are hoping that when you are done, you can continue to offer work support. You can continue to even work with your company and still support other thriving companies. In that way, that will help you rather than saying, I have a steady leave letter, because a steady leave letter proves nothing. When you leave the interview, you can tear it, you can destroy it. It is not a proof that you return. You have a steady leave letter, but you are being sponsored by your uncle who is into real estate. Who does that? Right? So it doesn't make sense. You have a steady leave letter, you are being sponsored by your brother, you are being sponsored by your father. So you are saying that your father is spending so much money for you to just go and return to a company that is already paying you 3,000 Ghana cedis, and the company is giving you a steady leave letter that shows that when you return to your home country, they will pay you 5,000 Ghana cedis. How much is 5,000 Ghana cedis? How does it in terms of cost benefit analysis? If you compare, what is the risk? Why will you spend so much money to study a program and return to a job that cannot pay even half of the money that you study over a period of 10 years? It doesn't make financial sense. This is where understanding the rules come into play. You know, the visa rules are like every rule that lawyers use in court. Everyone has their own legal issues. Everyone has their own cases. It is up to the lawyer to massage your case and use the law to prove your case. So it is not like the rule is just one fit for all. Every case matter. The next thing is that some people go to the interview carrying employment letters. Okay, your employer has given you employment and you are coming to study. See, the issue is that why do you think that the visa officer will believe that after you are done with studies, you will be committed to returning to that company? The company that is not making any investment, any payment, any commitment into your studies. You have gone for a loan yourself. You have gone for financial support or a loan, or your uncle is sponsoring you, and you are saying that after school, you are returning to that company. What is the commitment? What is the relationship? So the visa officer will automatically know that you are lying, because when you come, okay, what happened when you get a better offer in the US? Are you saying that because your company gave you a letter that they will employ you, you will not do the work in the US? You return to your company? No, the letter the company gave you has no legal obligation to bring you back. However, there are some people who can use letters from companies, employment letters from companies, to prove their home ties. These are people who are being sponsored by the organization, by the employment. If your employer is sponsoring you, employer is supporting your studies, whether it is your tuition or your living expenses, and your employer give you some kind of employment letter. Now, because of their commitment to your studies, there it established some kind of relationship that can be assumed to believe that because they have invested in your studies, you will return to work with them. That even though it may not be the case, under normal circumstances, even though it may not be the case, under normal circumstances, visa officers will believe that so far as the company is making commitment, the company is investing, is paying for your tuition, you have some legal obligations. Most cases, companies that do that kind of support have what they call bond relationship. Even though in part of our country, our Africa, in part of Africa, we don't take some of these things serious. But that is not how the visa officer think. The visa officer know that so far as your company is making commitment, it is more or less linking you back to the home country. The probability that you return is high as compared to somebody whose company is not making a return at all. One good thing is that when visa officers see that companies, government, institutions are making commitment to sponsoring you, it also shows trust. It also shows commitment. It also shows some level of integrity. They believe that so far as a company is willing to go to that far to sponsor you, there's something you have that is unique, something you have that the company are interested. And when you plan to prove your home ties with such letters, that makes sense. But just going to the visa interview as a student with a steady leave letter, with the employment letter, without any strategic plan, without any story to convince the visa officer why it is important, the steady leave and employment letter will bring you back to your home country to work with your visa with your employer, your visa will be denied. All the time, think about the visa application and the visa rules as a legal issue at the court. everyone has their own case. And based on your case, you have to massage the law. You have to look for ways you can present your case in a way that will meet the requirement of the law for the judge to rule in your favor. In this case, for the visa officer to rule for you. That is why it is important you put a lot of preparation, effort in your preparation to get your story right.